What's up, Grizz Nation? Welcome into another Grizz Game Day update presented by Valley Sports Southeast. I'm Kelcey. This is Lang Whitaker. And in the second half of back-to-back tonight, the Grizzlies will host the Washington Wizards tonight at FedEx Forum at 7 o'clock. And look, there's a lot to unpack with this one. We're coming on to, like I said, a game after a win, of course, last night on Friday night. The Grizzlies lost to this Wizards team by 28 points earlier this season. The Wizards had 7 guys in double digits, including all 5 of their starters. And the Grizzlies were held to Jaren Jackson Jr., the leading scorer, with 13 points. Ja had 11, Des 10. It was not the prettiest game, but hear me out, Lang.
Yeah.
Hear me out. This Wizards team is now on a 4-game losing streak. This month, they are 5-8. They blew a 35-point lead against the Clippers in their last game 4 days ago. They're coming now into this FedEx Forum, this arena that has this energy that is just, I can't even describe it, but it's great. Are the Grizzlies coming into this game with a little extra oomph?
I mean, if I'm the Grizzlies, you don't forget that game in November. I mean, the thing I would point out is that the Grizzlies team and that Wizards team that played in November are totally different teams than they were in November. But, you know, the Wizards had a run there at the beginning of the season. They were one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And then since then, things have kind of leveled out for them. Back in November, the Grizzlies were one of the worst defensive teams in the league. And now they're one of the best defensive teams in the league. Since January, I think top 5 in offense and defensive rating. So the way the Grizzlies have been playing lately, they've been kind of rolling. And it doesn't seem to matter who's available, who's not available, whatever. This team, they rely on each other and they play like a team in the best sense of that word. So I think we'll see it, that Grizzlies team hopefully come to play tonight. Being on the second half of a back-to-back is not ideal, but like you said, that the Wizards haven't played in, I think, 4 days. So hopefully the Grizzlies bring that energy tonight, and we'll see which team shows up. And we saw last night pregame warmups. Kyle Anderson and Tyus Jones have been out with health and safety protocols, but they both went through warmups last night and then didn't play. So my guess is they could be available tonight. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, as of right now, and we know that this can change literally by the minute, they are questionable for tonight, which is better than being out. Dylan Brooks is still out. Yeah,
it's better than doubtful too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the guys are listed as doubtful. Questionable seems to be a hierarchy above.
Yeah,
doubtful.
It's like out, doubtful, questionable. They're back in, ready to go. So
you're saying there's a chance. Yeah.
They are questionable right now. It would be great to have both of them back. But let's look at the teams that we know are playing. And so you look at kind of like how these teams play and their style of play. Neither of these teams super great from beyond the 3. They're both bottom of the league right now in 3 points made this month. The thing that the Grizzlies, what sticks out to me though, is that the Grizzlies are number 1 in points in the paint. They've done that for a couple seasons now, but the Wizards, they allow the second highest 2-point field goal percentage. So how can the Grizzlies kind of take advantage of that?
I mean, the one thing that I think that it's pretty telling is this Wizards team is almost last in the league in fast break points. They average 8 a game. And the Grizzlies are number 1 in the league at fast break points. So clearly the Grizzlies are going to try and push tempo. It's sort of similar to what we saw last night against the Jazz team that doesn't like to play up and down and likes to slow it down. The Grizzlies defense is going to be key, getting in those passing lanes, deflecting passes, causing turnovers, and being able to get out and force the tempo. Before last night's game, assistant coach Scooney Penn talked to us and was talking about how that was going to be the key against the Jazz. And even if the Jazz try to slow down, you just got to get rebounds, whatever it takes to get out and go. And I think that's going to be the key for the Grizzlies tonight. We know the Wizards like to get in the paint. They're going to run into the block panther, Jaren Jackson Jr., if they get down inside there near the rim. So I think it's a good, if you have to play a back-to-back, if you're the Grizzlies, playing against a team that plays a similar style 2 games in a row is probably a little bit helpful.
Okay, hear me out though, Lang. So one of the ways that you get in transition is obviously rebounding and going. The thing last night with the Jazz is that they were one of the highest teams in the league in 3-point attempts. A long shot equals a long rebound, which makes obviously transition a lot faster, quicker.
Yeah.
What's the difference though if you're going up against a Wizards team tonight who doesn't necessarily shoot a lot of threes? How can the Grizzlies still kind of like push that pace and not allow them to set up in their half court D?
Yeah, well, the other problem is when you make a shot, it's hard to fast break off that, right? Because you got to take the ball out of bounds, throw it in, all that. So forcing misses and forcing missed shots is going to be huge for the Grizzlies. And that's why I think Jaren could have a huge impact on this game inside defending the rim, I think he finished with 6 blocks last night, or 5 blocks last night. He had a
Second
lot.
consecutive game with 6 blocks.
Yeah, so the block Panther's been going crazy, and I think if he's able to get that going again, defending the rim, and one thing Jaren's great at, he doesn't always swat it into the crowd. He keeps it in play and gives you a chance to transition off that. So just keeping the Wizards from making baskets, whether they're 3-2s, whatever. If you can force misses, that allows you to get out in transition, and then allows Jaren to like compliment your coat in the post game walk off interview.
Okay, let's talk about the one player on the Wizards who is making the most baskets, though, and that is someone who arguably is an all-star. Depends on how you look at it, and that's Bradley Beal. He's averaging 24 points per game, 6.5 assists, 5 rebounds per game. The one thing, though, he's also averaging 3.5 turnovers per game.
Yeah.
Grizzlies real high up there in steals.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is a game where you would love to have Dylan Brooks. We didn't mention, he's still out with the ankle injury. He'd be a great matchup against Bradley Beal. But I think the Grizzlies will throw a lot of bodies at him. Conchar, Melton, those type of guys will probably get some time against him. Desmond Bane will probably get some time against Beal also. If you can force those turnovers, and that's what we've seen the Grizzlies be so good at, especially D'Anthony Melton getting in those passing lanes. So I think if Beal gets his, he's going to get his. He's an all-star caliber player. Might not be an all-star this season just because the team hasn't performed that well, but Beal's clearly one of the best shooting guards in the league, and he gets his, okay, but you got to stop those other guys from getting theirs. You can't let him create for other players. You can't let Bradley Beal come to Beal Street and do big things, right? So the Grizzlies are going to have to step up. I had to find one somewhere.
All right, real quick before we go, Lang, we either pick a stat or a player. So let's go with a player tonight. Your player that you think needs to have a good game or is going to have a good game and help Grizzlies get the dub.
I think Ja has a bounce back game. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the 2-time player of the week, but considering the last game he had against his Wizards team back in November where he had 11 points, I think Ja's probably got this one circled on his calendar a little bit to say like that wasn't the best version of Ja Morant. And I think tonight Ja wants to show out a little bit. How about you? Who are you going with for your player of the game?
I think I'm going to go with a position, and I know that's a little bit cheating. I'm going to go with the 5 position, whether that be Jaren or Steven Adams. Okay. And I think because we talk about how important defense is and stopping this team from straight out just scoring, as well as keeping Kuzma off the boards, who's averaging almost 10 rebounds a game. I think I want to see Jaren get another 6 blocks. I would love that. But I think Steven Adams' dominance down low and the rim protection is just going to be chef's kiss.
Is one of us going to compete with Kyle Kuzma in the fashion game tonight? Like you got one of those sweaters that the arms hang down to the floor or something?
Oh, you just wait.
Okay.
All right. The fashion will have to wait a few more hours. Tip off again is at 7:00. You can get your tickets at grizzlies.com or 901-888-HOOP, or you can watch on the TV at Bally Sports Southeast.